Hello everyone, this is Bobbin Threadbare, and welcome back to the Human Revolution. I just spent some time cleaning this place out. It looks like I've got everything, so let's move on. I don't believe I went through this door before, but this is actually a way to skip past the hostages entirely here. That's a camera. By the way, blowing up cameras does set off the security system. Yeah, I'm looking at this one guy moving in the background there. So he's walking towards the camera. And cameras will also go off if they spot a dead or unconscious body. So you should watch out for that too. Fortunately, I don't know if it's something the camera does or if it's something that Jensen can do. But, oh, hang on. I think they're talking.
Someone over there?
They were. But I just wanted to take advantage of the fact that they were right next to each other. Ooh.
Activists have raided a Seraph Industries plant.
Now where did his weapon wound up on the printer?
The entire city holds its collective breath. I doubt I need to remind you folks that this is the second time the biotechnology firm has been attacked. The first time, 6 months ago, on the eve of controversial hearings set to scrutinize the company's research. With those hearings permanently on hold, many are now wondering if something else may be going on. Is David Seraph hiding something? For tonight, this is Eliza Kassan reporting to you from Picus.
Really? And yeah, Picus TV is the only thing that's ever on. But yeah, way to spin control it, guys. Alright, oh. Newspaper. And it's, I think I've seen that one already. Oh. You can see on the mini-map that the camera was pointed this way. But yeah, like I was saying, I'm not sure if it's something that only Jensen can do, or if it's actively shining that little arc out, but well, you never encounter a camera when Jensen isn't modified, so it's impossible to say, really.
Access granted.
Security didn't go off. Oh, that just makes it easier. Oh, but yeah, the guy's coming this way now. Oh.
Yo, someone there?
Yes, there is. Wonder if that counts against Ghost or not. Yeah, normally you get like a split second to just knock a guy out, and it doesn't really count towards being, alerting everyone else in the area. But, well, sometimes... Sometimes they can, if they just scream, that's enough. So the split second you get is very small, and it's not necessarily when the guy fires his weapon. Oh.
I don't know what the hack is doing. Yeah, it feels weird to leave him alone. What's he looking for? Proof that these fuckers are lying to us, I guess. Just like Zeke said.
I hope Zeke knows what he's doing.
Me too, man. Me too.
Let's see. Looks like there's 3 in the main room and 2 in the side rooms there. As soon as that guy turns around. Yep. So, fortunately, there is another grate hidden behind a bunch of boxes here. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention this earlier, but if you ignore the hostile... whoop.
You gonna stay out there, asshole?
He was pointed this way, you saw me open the grate. But, yeah, if you ignore the hostages, like, even if there's nobody left to set off the bomb or anything, the SWAT team will not get there in time. So that is something you need to do. Hey there, buddy. I think that's my favorite takedown. I mean, not all of them seem like they are quite violent enough to actively knock someone out. But that one is. Also, it's kind of funny. Yep, nothing aside from that frag grenade, the pile of prosthetic body parts. Anyway, there is actually like enough area back here that you can sneak past that guy if you wanted to. And this is basically the stealth route right here. Mostly thanks to that one grate that I found. Yeah, nobody's looking this way. However, I'm not going to be satisfied just by sneaking through this area. I think I might be good to go. And that guy certainly isn't moving anytime soon. But then, why take chances when you can turn invisible? What the hell? There we go. I sidled up against the wrong wall. Alright.
We're supposed to have complete access.
Good night, sweet prince. Yeah, sleeper hold, that's another one I believe in. I believe would actually knock someone out. I mean, not really, because just falling unconscious doesn't work like it does in video games. But this is a video game, so who cares? Also, weapon mod. Let's find out how these work. But first, let's have a look at the weapons themselves. Trank gun, that gets 1 special mod and up to 3 reload speed modifications. And that's pretty good because, you know, you want reload speed when you can only load 1 bullet in at once. Silent sniper rifle, it's a pretty excellent weapon, but it tops out around mid-range for everything. And looks like it can get a laser sight though. That's good for a sniper rifle because normally they're inaccurate when you fire from the hip. Like I said, double barrel shotgun, not much room for improvement. So it's more of a gimmick than anything. Now the 10mm pistol, that is a very nice weapon once you pack in all the upgrades you can. Because it's got an incredible room for improvement. You can take the laser sight, a silencer, special weapon mod is armor piercing. That's awesome. Machine pistol, damage can never be that good, but it's otherwise pretty good, versatile weapon. Also, it's got target seeking mode as its special unique mod. But, I don't know. I prefer taking the combat rifle and the pistol instead. The machine pistol is just kind of, I don't know, pointless at that point. Also, I just wanted to point out that I do not have to sort the grid. The grid is self-sorting. So long as there's room for the thing to go in, you can pick it up. It'll move everything around, so, you know, if you get, like, inventory OCD, that's bad news. But aside from that, you know. Yep, I got him. Alright, let's see if he distracts... Oh. Whoops. Yeah, he was facing this way. So now we're doing this again.
I'm gonna get you, asshole!
I think he saw me diving between the 2 desks. So that's where he's headed right now. Oh, he saw me diving between the desks again, and oh, yep. There's that last known position marker. You saw that for a second there. See? Yep. That's where he thinks I am. That's what that little marker does. It's mostly useless because it should be pretty obvious.
Have a look around.
Alright, looks like he's headed the wrong direction. So let's just sneak up. Oh, no, he's trying to wake somebody up. No, you don't. That was pretty good, too. For some reason, it looks like I can't unmark a guy if I'm standing right next to him. Oh. Stun gun darts. You know, there is actually one other good reason why you would want to take the tranq rifle to begin with. It's because when we get to Detroit, the rest of Detroit, this is basically the only weapon you cannot find within the first hour or so of looking around. If you know what you're looking for, anyway. Well, if you're willing to explore everywhere, specifically. But yeah, this is what you guys missed out on last time, me hunting between all of the desks, looking for all the little crap on all the tables. That's the way I got in. And upstairs is a room that is blocked off by giant crates. That is an incredible safety hazard, guys. You really should move those things. But that's not my department. And I think we're done here. Oh, an elevator. And what's this? A Praxis kit. What could technically be the first Praxis you ever receive. It's probably what I would have first received if I were, you know, not playing this on New Game Plus Plus. Kicked over the trash can there. But yeah, you saw the turret in the background there. If I had basically stayed in view of it for a second longer, it would have started firing at me. Also, who needs to hack when people just put their passwords just lying around in pocket secretaries? Hack if you find passwords like on your first playthrough, it actually pays to hack them anyway, because you get experience for hacking, and every last point of experience you get means you get more praxis, means you can do more stuff. So that's why you should explore everywhere, knock everybody out by hand if possible, because that's extra points, and hack everything. You do that, you'll get as much praxis as this game has to offer. Also, yeah, the ability to pick up and move heavy objects. Oh, crap. Whoops. I forgot. First of all, I forgot that was there. Second of all, I forgot that in order to pick up mines, you need to walk very slowly towards them. Oh, somebody's screwing around in there. Looks like he's got little dots on the back of his head. Let's go see what he's up to.
Step away from the console. Now!
Help me!
Son of a bitch! Pritchard, you still there?
Where else would I be?
Patch me to Seraph, now.
Adam, it's David. You got the Typhoon?
Yeah, but you were right about there being something more behind this. Because I've also got a dead purist in here with some pretty interesting cerebral implants.
Don't touch him. We'll need an expert to recover his neural hub, in case it's booby-trapped.
Copy that. What about Sanders?
SWAT's pressure me to let them off the leash. Find them before they do, and deal with them.
You saw me grab just now a Cyberboost Pro Energy pack that takes up 2 inventory slots, but it restores 2 batteries at once, instead of just the 1. Now, what's going on down here? I guess the SWAT team isn't waiting anymore. Or maybe the Purity First guys aren't. Well, it's hard to say who started this, but it's clear enough who ended it. But yeah, you can't actually get down there. It's just there for flavor, really. Alright, now this would be the administration building we're in now. This is where Josie Thorpe is. Please pay no attention to the sudden cut. Yeah, whoops. Made a bit of a mistake up here. But yeah, those 2 guys we just saw there. Ordinarily they would be talking to each other, but I guess we missed that somehow. But yeah, basically what they have to say is that they feel like they're about to get screwed over, or like something terrible is about to happen, because they're in over their heads, and they're wondering if their leader, Zeke, knows what the hell he's doing. Oh, bad landing. Alright, now let's get you away from the edge there, where your friends downstairs could see you. Yeah, and over there's the stealth path. This leads straight downstairs. And far enough to the left of the room that you can potentially sneak past everybody else down here. Also, you might want to note that the mirror here is off. And yeah, basically it's sort of like one critical problem with the Unreal Engine, which is what this is running on, is that it cannot do mirrors, like not even a little bit. The mirrored shades, they just sort of show a generic room that you may or may not be in at the time. Okay, I guess I can't hide up against the door there. You look isolated. But yeah, that doesn't seem quite like a knockout takedown right there. I mean, yeah, knee to the head, that's not fun, but it's not necessarily enough to knock you out. and just sort of flipping you, that just flips you. It doesn't do anything else. Oh. Because he isn't coming this way, he's just searching the desks. Oh, he's turned away. Yeah, both of these guys aren't looking at me anymore. Let's see if I can take this guy out without anyone noticing. Yeah, that takedown, that kind of makes me thinking about how they probably motion captured this, you know, without actually breaking anyone's arm. Because it is not moving back far enough for that to honestly make that sound. You know, I'm not knocking their ability to make these takedowns look realistic. I'm just saying it's kind of interesting how this works. Looks like they got a lot of the passwords for the computers here. Now that I've knocked everybody out, maybe I can start looking through them. Trilateral Commission. That takes me back. By the way, when he's not ranting, he actually plays music from the first game. It's actually a neat little Easter egg. Refreshing beer takes the edge off. By the way, I seem to remember saying that look through walls also identifies items, and yeah, that's not true. It only identifies people. I've put it through a few extra tests, and that's the way it goes. Oh, Pocket Secretary. Another login. Ovid. Someone likes his classical Greek. Or crap. No, that's the Roman guy. Ovid's the Roman guy. Alright. I think I've explored everywhere else around here. So let's have another beer. Start hacking. Or, well, not necessarily hacking. Whoops. Yeah, this one I got the password. Yeah, and some of these emails are basically indicating that Seraph is strapped for cash thanks to the whole, you know, accident disaster thing throwing everything off. Let's see. This has got a few things we haven't seen before. Transfer, that, you know, +2 to one spot, -2 to another. And when something is at 0, it becomes an immediate free capture. No detection chance. Soften reduces the connected things, like that. And there's also another one that specifically reduces the enemy power level, and another one that reduces the power level for the things that you that have the stuff in them, the data stores. Anyway, we didn't need to see all of these here, so I just kind of skipped ahead. Pretend I hacked all those computers and that you saw everything. Alright, another set of staircases. I think we're getting close to the end now, folks. Alright, so the thing is that there are pretty much 4 ways that this next encounter can go. Zeke is holding Jodie hostage, and you can let him go with her, in which case she will die in the crossfire between him and the cops. You can talk him out of taking her with him. You can fight him and kill him, or you can fight him and knock him out. And you gotta be careful when you're knocking him out, because you gotta, like, shoot him to knock him out of his animation before you can actually take him down.
Don't lie to me! I don't want to hurt you. You're a civilian. But I will if you don't give me a choice.
If you didn't want to hurt anyone, you should have stayed home tonight.
Oh, look! Seraph's attack dog! You're here to clean up before the police bust in? He thinks we're breaking the law. Shut up! All you body polluters break laws. You're all the same.
You're gonna have a hard time convincing people you're any different once they hear you had an AUG on your team.
What?
I found your attack dog in the factoring labs, trying to cut through security with his implanted hackware.
Nice try, Cholo. But I would never let one of you freaks on my crew. Back off, Hunter! I got business to take care of, understand? If what you say is true, and I'm not saying it is over here, but I gotta check things out. So, mia la vieja, we're leaving.
And this is why you would want him to leave, by the way. So he can get to the bottom of this at his end, too. Yeah, welcome to the persuasion section. You can do this without the AUG.
You know I can't let you go with her.
Stand down, Hanser! I told you, stand down or this bitch is dead!
Bullshit. You're bigger than that. You don't kill civilians.
Damn right! I'm a decorated vet, and I won't be jerked around. I need to find out who's behind this, and right now the boss lady's my only ticket out of here.
Listen to me. Whatever's going on, it's big. You've got a better chance of getting to the bottom of it if you work with me, but I can't do a thing until you let her go.
Are you stupid? I don't work with AUGs. God, you must think I'm some kind of moron. And who can blame you? Because it's exactly what it must look like to everyone right now. Trapped in here by the cops, and my only option is to take a hostage. How screwed up is that?
You can do this without the Casey AUG, but you don't get all of these hints. Anyway, sounds like he's misunderstood right now, so...
You're doing better than you think. You're still standing, and that's more than the hacker was expecting. You said you're a vet, so I know you've got the balls to handle this. You don't need the civilian to get you out of here.
You got a good point there. But still, I've got to exploit my advantage. And as long as I hold on to this lady here, you and the cops will be way too scared to come near me. Face it, you got outmaneuvered.
He thinks highly of himself right now, so I gotta knock him down.
Holding a civilian doesn't get you respect. It barely gets you noticed. The hostage is my only priority, and that goes double for the cops out there. Trust me, nobody gives a damn about some coward who hides behind a skirt.
I'm not a coward, but my back's to the wall here. You know what? We're done talking. The puto who tricked my brother thought he had us beat, but we are so much tougher than he counted on. I'm gonna go find him and anybody else who helped him. And when I do, they're gonna see the Angel of Vengeance in action, baby.
Is he inflating, or is he thinking highly of himself? Let's try to reason with him this time.
Listen, the hacker's plan was for you to die. He knew there would be civilians here tonight. He thought of everything. He used your brother because he knew you would trust him. That's how well he knows you. He expected you to take a hostage, just like he knew the cops would kill you for it.
You're right. Damn! You know, he even asked me once about hostages. I told him I would if I had to. I thought I had to here, but I can't afford to, can I? Go on, get out of here. You're free to go. I did what you wanted, so let me go. I got Blade here too, I say.
I've got as much interest in finding out who's really behind this as you do, cabron.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll owe you one. But I promise you this, someone's gonna pay.
Keep looking.
Adam!
He's here somewhere.
Adam, what's happening? What's your situation? Adam!
Sanders is gone, boss. But I'm pretty sure he's just a dupe. Somebody else set this up.
Damn it. Okay, I want you back here now. The admin building has a rooftop terrace. Meet Farida on it.
Copy. Jensen out. Are you alright?
I'm fine. Just a little shaken up, but what about the other hostages? My husband was with them in one of the assembly labs, and I overheard talk about a bomb.
Don't worry, they're safe.
Oh, thank God. When those men surprised us. Mr. Jensen, they should not have been able to get in. With the typhoon being moved in and all, I double-checked the protocols myself.
Yeah, I expect Pritchard's doing the same thing right now. Stay here. DPD will want to question you. But you and your husband should be reunited soon.
Thank you, Mr. Jensen. You're a hero.
I thought that maniac was going to kill me. I hope you did the right thing letting him go like that.
I just don't know what he expected to accomplish. Seraph Industries isn't breaking any laws. I owe you my life. And Greg's too. Thank you, Mr. Jensen. I owe you my life.
Jensen? You're the guy who was sent in before us? Those hostages owe you a lot. Nice going. Defusing that bomb was some quick work. You should get a commendation. Defusing that bomb was some quick work.
Way to secure the terrorist leader, Jensen. Now the bastard's free to spread his lies and cause more trouble. On a good note, maybe it'll teach the higher-ups not to interfere. Sending one man in on a job like this never turns out good. On a good note, maybe it'll teach the higher-ups not to interfere.
So as I was saying, Josie can totally die if you try and confront him, but you do get a chance to fire first. That's her login there. Looks like she has friends in the military. And she went to a community college. Well, good on Sarah for hiring her to be the lead in one of her labs. It shows he's more interested in results than in the where you got your education. Huh. It's a new version of the Nigerian prince scam. Also, pay attention to who all gets that particular email, by the way. It is interesting, the list of names.
Way to secure the terrorist leader, Jensen.
Where the hell were you in all this? Aren't you Sarah's security chief? Son of a bitch! I'd love to get my hands on whoever let him get away. Where the hell were you in all this? Aren't you Sarah's security chief?
Nice job securing the plane.
How the hell did you let the bastard get away? You dropped the ball, pal. You better get out of the way. It won't be pretty when we catch this guy. If we catch him. You Sarah's boy? What the hell happened?
So I'm guessing that's the door he ducked out of.
Sorry, Mr. Thorpe. The target is on lockdown. I can't let anyone in.
But my wife, she's still in there. I need to know that she's okay.
You'll have to wait until the building is secure. Now back up and let the SWAT team do their job, please. So, you're the reason we were kept out of here. Great. I hope all your little secrets are locked away good and tight. Lucky for you, the sergeant won't let us near those pikers reporters outside. Someone might let the truth slip out for a change.
My wife, is she all right?
She's fine. A little shaken up, though. Swab will need to debrief her, but you'll see her soon.
I don't know what to say. I think I've given up on her. You're a true hero, man. I'll find some way to repay this, I swear.
There's no need for that. I was just doing my job.
Don't be modest. I didn't recognize you before, but I know who you are, Mr. Jensen. And I know you weren't supposed to be back at work yet. Thank God you are. I'll be in touch. Count on it. Seriously, I can't thank you enough. I will find a way to repay you for this.
I gotta admit, Jensen, I'm glad someone decided to send you in first. No telling what would have happened if one of us ran into that hostage room. Not sure we could have defused that bomb in time. Nice going. Nice job securing the plant. I wouldn't have thought a security guard could handle this. Not even an augmented one. I was ready to come in here with a bucket and a mop. Glad to see I was wrong.
I can't believe they made us wait out here while the leader of these assholes got away. Who knows what he'll do now? Where the hell were you in all this? Aren't you Sarah's security chief?
By the way, the bucket and mop guy is particularly displeased if you kill your way through this mission, even though that's what the SWAT team would do.
You made a lot of people happy tonight, Jensen. And not just the men in suits.
It's what they pay me for.
No. They pay you to put corporate interests ahead of people. You found a way to satisfy everyone. Guess Dr. Reed was telling the truth about you.
Megan? What are you talking about, Malik?
Before you were hired, she said the papers were lying about Mexican Town. That you weren't fired from the force. You quit when you realized Protect and Serve had become Protect and Serve the corporate interest. Nice to see she was right. You ready to go?
Actually, no.
Not quite yet, Malik. Can you wait here?
Yeah, but don't take too long. Boss is expecting you.
No. This is the end of the video. So, I'll just wait here for now. So, something you can expect me to do when I get to AV Corner is spotlight movies and shows which are best described as edge cases. Stories that aren't clearly cyberpunk or dystopian, but which nevertheless have a solid thematic link to human revolution. That's why my pick for this introductory cycle is Terminator 2, Judgment Day. It's a film that takes place in the modern day and mostly with modern technology, but it's also about a technological apocalypse and the people trying to prevent such a fate from happening. The story about the story. Following the release of the original Halloween, slasher films, and horror movies in general, were all the rage. A fact that inexperienced action directors loved, since slasher films are also very cheap to produce. One such director, James Cameron, wanted in on this fashion trend, but he needed a good hook. The Terminator franchise began with a bad dream. In 1981, Cameron had a nightmare about a crawling chrome torso with kitchen knives for hands, and he would go on to expand that idea into The Terminator, a movie that takes its name from the relentless slasher villain who turns out to be an evil robot sent from the future to kill Sarah Connor before her son can grow up to lead the rebellion against the evil Skynet. Cameron worked with a friend, Bill Wisher, to flesh out the script, but some of their initial ideas had to be scrapped. Cameron wanted two robots, one composed of liquid metal, to duke it out over Sarah. But the special effects technology quite simply wasn't there. But he made the best of it by swapping out one of the time travelers for a human resistance member who has sex with Sarah, conceiving John Connor, and creating a closed time loop. Fortunately, CGI would show up in a big way in the second half of the 1980s, a fact which Cameron learned personally when he used it for his 1989 movie, The Abyss. Once that film was finished, Cameron brought back the two stars of the first movie, Linda Hamilton and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he got started on writing and directing the sequel. With a budget of $102 million, 15 times the size of the original movie's budget, Terminator 2 was much more than the cheap debut movie that the first Terminator was. It was a full-on action movie with big, expensive set pieces that crisscrossed Southern California in general, and Los Angeles in particular. James Cameron now had several more years of directing and special effects experience under his belt, something you can also say about his director of photography, Adam Greenberg, and his practical effects expert, Stan Winston, both of whom were also veterans of the first movie. As for the computer effects, Cameron hired George Lucas's company, Industrial Light and Magic, which at that point was the first and last word in CGI. It's also worth mentioning that Cameron is both famous and infamous for his perfectionism and for the way he tends to micromanage every aspect of a film's production. For T2, he created entire miniature sets so he could go over it with a thumb-sized camera and figure out exactly how he wanted to block each shot. He brought in a former Israeli commando to teach the actors how to handle and fire the various firearms that their characters use. He also made the 12-year-old Edward Furlong, who played John Connor, go through strength training, acting lessons, and motorcycle lessons to prepare for what would be his debut film. Still, for all the money and effort that went into the production, I'd say it was money well spent. The story. First of all, I should say that I'm watching the special edition, which has a few quiet scenes that were fully produced, but were dropped from the theatrical version because they weren't completely necessary, and they dragged on the pacing of what is, without them, a 2-hour film. We begin in the desolate future of AD 2029. As endoskeletal robots fight the human resistance, Sarah Connor informs us that, following a devastating nuclear war known as Judgment Day, the human survivors would go on to fight the robots of the Skynet computer, which wants to end all human life. To further this goal, Skynet has sent 2 Terminators back through time to destroy the Resistance leader, John Connor. However, the Resistance has managed to send back 2 of their own to protect him and his mother. We cut to the present day at a truck stop, and the movie begins the same way the first one did. Schwarzenegger is playing a different Terminator that just happens to be the same model that was in the first movie. He appears completely naked in a parking lot, enters a trucker bar, finds a guy who's about his size, and demands his clothes, his boots, and his motorcycle. The bikers try to fight back, but it doesn't go well. Meanwhile, the other time traveler appears under a freeway overpass, punches a cop, and, from what the film shows us, appears to steal the man's clothes and car. Using the police car's information terminal, he finds out that John Connor is a juvenile delinquent, staying with a foster family, Todd and Janelle Voigt. After a quick scene of John being a juvenile delinquent, we visit Sarah Connor in a secure state hospital. She's been committed because she told people the story of the first movie and nobody believed her. Oh, and also because she tried to bomb a computer factory. Incidentally, her experience of being the damsel in distress in the first movie has turned her into a doomsday prepper who keeps trying to escape and routinely gets beat up by the orderlies. She also dreams about Kyle, the time-traveling human from the first movie. We go back to John being a delinquent, and he shows that he knows a few things about hacking computers when he spoofs an ATM. He heads to the mall to spend the money he stole, and both time travelers manage to get onto his trail on the way over. When John sees the cop looking for him, he ducks out the back of an arcade, and that's when he sees Schwarzenegger coming towards him with a shotgun. John winds up getting stuck between the Terminator and the cop, and it's only when Schwarzenegger says "get down" and shoots the cop, creating liquid metal splashes on his chest, it's only at this point that the movie tells you that Schwarzenegger is now the good guy. The 2 Terminators fight, and John escapes on his bike. The cop Terminator commandeers an 18-wheeler to chase him into LA's flood control channels. Schwarzenegger catches up with them on his motorcycle, and the chase ends with him grabbing John and disabling the truck. John and the Terminator drive into an alley so John can take stock of the situation. Schwarzenegger explains that he was sent into the past by John 35 years in the future, which means the movie is set in 1994 instead of 1991, which is the year the movie was released. He also explains that the other Terminator is a T-1000 advanced prototype, a liquid metal mimetic polyalloy that can change into any solid, continuous shape of equal size. This means it can flame blades and knives and imitate any adult, but it needs a real gun to shoot things and real explosives to blow something up. John wants to go home, or at least warn his foster parents. When he calls them, Janelle acts way too nice, and the dog is barking in the background. Schwarzenegger takes over the call, and when Janelle gets the name of the dog wrong, he realizes that the T-1000 got there first, and the Voights are now dead. John needs some more time to wrap his head around the fact that everything his mother told him was real, and as he does so, he realizes that he needs to get her out of the hospital before the T-1000 gets to her first. Schwarzenegger refuses to let him go. But then John discovers that he has to follow his direct commands. In the process, Schwarzenegger almost kills 2 guys, and so John also orders him to never kill a human. The 2 go on to rescue Sarah, who by this point has smuggled herself a paperclip and broken out. At the same time, the T-1000 is there, and he kills and replaces a security guard. As Sarah makes her escape, she encounters Schwarzenegger and starts screaming for help even as all the guards pile on her. It's not until after the Terminator knocks them all out and her son appears that she realizes he's here to help. It's at this point that Schwarzenegger says, "Come with me if you want to live," which is what Kyle said to her in the first movie. Anyway, the T-1000 makes his move after that, but they eventually get away. The three of them head to an empty gas station at the edge of town to stitch up a wound Sarah took during their escape. They also pull the bullets out of Schwarzenegger, and John finds out that while he runs on a learning computer, a miniature version of Skynet, it's currently in read-only mode. So they dig into his head and flip the switch. This, by the way, is the key scene they cut from the theatrical release. It's a shame, really, because it informs Arnold's character growth throughout the rest of the movie. It's the moment when Sarah starts listening to her son, and it contains the craziest practical special effects shot in the film. When they're sitting in front of a mirror, that's not an actual mirror. They built an entire mirrored room on the other side of the wall, and they brought in Linda Hamilton's twin fucking sister to be her body double. For the record, the craziest CGI scene was when the T-1000 mimicked that guard in the hospital, and they used another identical twin for that. So, now that Arnold can start learning, we get a few scenes setting up some of the one-liners he'll do later, like "No problemo" and "Hasta la vista, baby." Sarah then asks about how Skynet came to be, and so Arnold tells her about Miles Dyson and the Cyberdyne Corporation. In a few months, Dyson will create a revolutionary self-learning computer. By 1997, one such system, Skynet, will be in charge of all of America's strategic defenses, and in August of that year, it'll become self-aware. When humans realize this, they panic and try to destroy it, and that's when it launches the nukes into Russia, so Russia will launch the nukes into America, and Judgment Day begins. We then get a scene with Miles and his family, which shows that he built the system to save lives, not to end them. Sarah brings John and Arnold down to the Mexican border to meet her friend Enrique and pick up a truck and some of the weapons she left with him. This includes a grenade launcher and a rotary cannon. At this point, Sarah has that famous dream sequence where she watches a playground get blasted by a nuclear strike. Apparently, blasting apart the Ash dummies disturbed even the special effects guys who filmed it. Sarah then wakes up and looks at the phrase she scratched into the table in front of her: "No fate." When she drives off, John sees it and says it's short for "the future's not set. There's no fate but what we make for ourselves." Supposedly, Kyle said this to Sarah in the first movie, although that's not actually true, and it's a sign that she's going to try and change the future now that John is safe. However, John is horrified by the idea that she's going to kill Dyson, and he gets Arnold to take him back to LA. Sarah attacks Miles at his house, but misses, so she goes in after him, nailing him in the shoulder, but finally stopping when Miles' son gets in the way, and she has to look at his whole family scared and sobbing. John and Arnold arrive just afterwards, and Arnold treats Miles' shoulder wound as John calms down his mom. They then show Miles proof of the whole time-traveling thing by tearing the skin off of one of Arnold's arms. Miles is understandably upset, and he decides to quit, to destroy all the files and all the prototypes. But he particularly needs to go to Cyberdyne to destroy the damaged CPU and Terminator hand, which the company recovered after the original movie. They get into Cyberdyne labs and start rigging everything to explode, despite setting off an alarm in the process and having pretty much the entire LAPD called on them. There's a remarkable action scene where Arnold fights off the whole police force without taking a single life. When the SWAT team enters, they shoot Miles a few times while the rest get away, and Miles forces them to retreat by holding his hand over the detonator, which they had set up, a hand he eventually drops when he bleeds to death. Arnold then gets Sarah and John past the police in the lobby by kneecapping everyone, and he disables the parking lot with tear gas. It seems like they're about to get away in a SWAT van, but then the T-1000 shows up and hijacks a helicopter. The climactic action scene takes up the rest of the movie. When the helicopter blows up and the van tips on its side, the Connors grab a pickup truck, the T-1000 steals another semi, this one towing a load of liquid nitrogen. As they drive into a steel mill, the tanker tips over and the T-1000 gets a full blast of the liquid gas. Arnold says his famous line and shoots the robot to pieces, but it's not long before the heat of the foundry starts to melt it back into a liquid. The T-1000 is responding poorly to the excess heat, however. The Terminators fight, Sarah fights, and in the end, Arnold blows the T-1000 up with one last grenade, knocking it into a pool of molten metal and killing it. But while that's all well and good, there's still one loose end that needs tying up: the CPU in Arnold's head. To truly prevent Judgment Day, they need to destroy all copies of the learning computer. And so, as John cries and Sarah shakes the robot's hand, Arnold goes into the steel, giving them one last thumbs up before disappearing forever. The analysis. An action movie doesn't have to be smart, and it doesn't have to say anything significant. But here's the thing. For an action movie to truly stand the test of time, for it to make a real impact, it needs more than just good effects and good action. Now, I'm not saying that doing those things right is easy, but even if you do get them right, your movie will only last until the next big thing comes along. To become something that generations in the future will watch, an action movie also has to say something. One way to read Terminator 2 is as a Cold War metaphor. It's really not that much of a stretch when you consider that nuclear Armageddon is part of the setting's backstory. Terminator 1 came out in 1984, at a time when the Soviet Union was going through leaders at a rapid pace, and a first-term Reagan was insisting that the United States could win a nuclear war. Skynet was a metaphor for our own hubris, the idea that we were so blind that we would create the means of our own destruction and then use it. But Terminator 2 went into production as the Berlin Wall fell and Germany reunited, as Gorbachev opened the Soviet Union to the West, made some key nuclear arms agreements with second-term Reagan and Bush I, and as the movie entered post-production, the Soviet Union was starting to break apart. Suddenly, the future didn't look so inevitably bleak, and so, equally suddenly, the future laid out by the Terminator seemed like something we could avoid if we actually tried. And so we have, at least so far. Of course, the addition of a machine uprising does add a few anti-technology elements to the narrative, as does the concept that you can somehow put the genie back in the bottle, which no one has ever done ever. James Cameron is something of an extreme environmentalist, and although this aspect of his personality has apparently grown in recent years, it was definitely present back in the 80s too. I mean, at the end of The Abyss, some ancient deep-sea water creatures are prepared to destroy humanity because of pollution and war, but they don't because they discover that love exists. I mean, I like most of that movie, but that ending, not so much. But as a result of Cameron's beliefs and the robot uprising meme, which dates back to 1920, there's an element of despair, even in the victorious ending. It's that old warning that there are some things humans were never meant to know, and it's not something I ever really agreed with. Maybe it's because I was 7 when the Cold War ended. The threat of a nuclear war was never that present in my memory. But I've always felt that technology is, on the whole, better than the alternative, and that we can find new solutions faster than we can create new problems. Something else that really sets T2 apart from other action movies is the body count. Aside from the villain and the SWAT team that shoos Miles Dyson, nobody kills anybody throughout the entire movie. One of the movie's explicit themes is the value of a human life, and it follows through on that theme. It didn't have to, what with an R rating, but they did it anyway. One of the best examples of how this theme works comes during the second act. With the good Terminator starting to learn about humans and forbidden from taking the life, he's starting to become more human himself. And Sarah comments through the movie's narration that he's the best father figure John has ever had. But for her part, Sarah has decided that the only way to save the future is to kill Miles Dyson, and in the process, she starts acting more and more like a Terminator, until, of course, her humanity betrays her in the end. The implication is clear. To be human is to value human life. Finally, I figure I should briefly mention the 3 later sequels the series got: Rise of the Machines, Salvation, and Genesis. Here's what I have to say about them. You don't have to watch them. You, as the audience, have the power to see or to not see any entry in a film, book, or TV series. You have to acknowledge that these entries exist, at least, but you don't have to watch them, and you don't have to acknowledge what they do to the stories you love. The author is dead. Long live the reader. Thanks for joining me today in AV Corner, and I hope you'll join me next time for the most obvious Science Corner topic possible for Human Revolution.